We'll get started with an opening statement from Coach on SEC tournament, and then open it up for questions.
Yeah, I mean, you're at this point in the season, and the first things first, you kind of have different phases of your season. You have the non-conference, and you have conference play, and you have the SEC tournament, and then hopefully you're good enough to be in the NCAA tournament. And so the first two phases, we've done a really good job. And now that's behind us, and everything that we're focusing on is right there in front of us. And the SEC tournament is phenomenal. This is my second year going through it. Last year, I was just blown away by the attendance, the games, the atmosphere, and everything else. And so to be a part of that's really special. And we don't exactly know our opponent yet, which is kind of a good thing right now. We can focus on ourselves, but getting ready for postseason basketball right now. And so our goal is to win the SEC tournament. We know how it goes. Got to win the first one to be able to do that, but that's what we're prepping for.
How much does not knowing your opponent yet change your preparation, or if any at all?
Yeah, it's a little different when you played them before. And so we're kind of looking at 3 opponents, and then, after, Wednesday afternoon, we'll be looking at 2 opponents. The good thing is one of them we played twice in 2 weeks. So that's not an excruciating prep to get ready for Tennessee. We know what we do there. So we'll anxiously await and see who it comes. But right now, especially earlier in the week, we really focused on just us.
Are a lot of teams practicing in Memorial that team is right now?
Which team is?
The team you played twice in 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Memorial's open to everybody in the SEC tournament. And so they scheduled in there. And I think some choose to use different places around town, but right now, Memorial is everybody's gym.
Grinding out the win the way you guys did last week at UT, is that a confidence booster at all heading into the postseason?
Yeah, I mean, I think you just look at the last week and not just the Tennessee win. To be able to win on the road against Ole Miss when I thought Ole Miss played really well. Things were going against us, and to be able to do that in overtime fashion and figure that one out. And then at Tennessee, for majority of the game, we played at a high level. And so that's what you want to see right now is momentum going in that direction, playing good basketball this time of year. And so to be able to win our last 2, especially on the road, gives us momentum.
What are the biggest things that you want to see out of your team in the SEC tournament this week?
You want to be playing your best this time of year. And, that starts in practice. We want to go hard, stay healthy. But you do not want to go in playing any of these opponents right now and not be at your best. One thing right now, talk to our guys about, from this point forward, every team we play is going to either be on a winning streak or they're really good and they've earned it right there. So there's no more opponents on the schedule, that won't be a great opponent. And so we know it's a challenge. That's what we like.
What part of your guys' game do you feel like is peaking now heading into the tournament?
Well, we're getting some continuity. We had almost 3 separate teams. We had one team that was playing in November, December. And then, we had a different team in January without Duke Miles for some of that in February. And now with him back. And so the good thing is we've been successful at all 3 versions. And now just kind of continuity with the team. I feel like this double bye, it should give us our legs back. I think, we're not an extremely deep team right now, which is fine. 7 or 8 guys can really play and they'll play the minutes. So giving us that time off, I feel like we'll be healthier. And then I do feel like we got a better rhythm right now.
You said after the Tennessee game y'all were worn out. Does that affect your approach with minutes this week, especially when you're trying to play 3 games in 3 days?
I think every coach would say they're worn out at that point. And so I don't think we were any different than any other team. Now I sit there and say, we're here on Wednesday, and I say we're refreshed. I mean, I think we're in great shape right now going into this. So you don't worry about game 2. We'll do everything possible to win game 1. And then if we're fortunate enough to do that, we'll rally the troops and try to do it in game 2.
You mentioned you've had 3 different versions of your team. Like, this particular group hasn't been together all that long since Duke came back. Just what do you make of the trajectory of it as it kind of stands?
Yeah, I mean, I thought, defensively, if you looked at us against Tennessee, I thought that was the best version we've been with this group in a while. And, we have more weapons. We can share the ball. We can pass. We're more versatile. And, this is the group that we anticipate is our best group, and I'm glad they're rolling at the right time.
You mentioned Duke. Do you feel like he's pretty much all the way back since coming back?
Yeah, he looks that way to me. He's been bouncy in practice, and maybe he might be a little more fresh than the other guys. He had 5 or 6 games off there, and so he had a little break in the season. So I thought he's playing good basketball right now.
Everyone wants to peak at the right time. How does maybe that late season adversity kind of prepare you for the tournament?
Yeah, I mean, there's late season adversity and there's adversity the entire year. And sometimes sometimes you see it and sometimes you don't. But we always talk about you have to overcome it. And we just want to be resilient, and whether it's in the game or the season, this group has done that. You know, whether I think at one point we lost 3 straight games and came right back and won 3 straight. And, you know, we've had some down times. We didn't play our best and always bounce back. So, you know, you learn along the way, you keep learning, and then hopefully you're at your best version.
Is it different, Mark, when you've known probably for a while you were in pretty good shape when it came to the NCAA tournament? It's a little bit different from how it was last year where you entered this tournament kind of not so sure. Has that been, you think that will be an advantage?
Well, everybody's going to this tournament with something to play for. And, you know, some teams are on the bubble. Some teams aren't even on the bubble, and they're trying to win the whole tournament. You know, they're at their last situation right now to try to be able to win and keep their season going. And some teams are playing for seeding. I think what we're talking about is we know we're in the NCAA tournament, but we're trying to win the SEC tournament. And that's our next goal. That's what's in front of us right now. So game 1's on Friday. We're trying to get to Saturday and trying to get to Sunday after that.
How's your mom's bracketology these days?
The good thing is she knows I'm irritable this time of year, so she kind of keeps it to herself. And the bracketology, you know, for us this year, I think the comfortability of being in is kind of, we've taken that away. And I think we're able to just focus on getting better and focus on the team and not have to worry about the outside stuff that we can't control. And so you could say that, but then at the same time, when you're checking Joe Lenardi every single day, it can be exhausting. So right now, we're taking that out of the plan, and we're just getting ready for the SEC tournament.
You're not playing at Memorial, but essentially kind of a home court advantage. How beneficial is that for you guys?
One thing I learned last year in the SEC tournament is not a home court advantage. And, well, we were probably outnumbered last year, and so we got a home city advantage where we know the surrounding, we know all that, but the SEC tournament, teams come from everybody. It's so well attended. It's truly neutral, and sometimes, you know, more than neutral against us. So we're not worried about that. We're 8-4 on the road this year. If we're outnumbered, we'll still play. If we got more fans there, we're appreciative, and we'll play hard for them.
I know Mike James was out a couple games. Do you feel like he can maybe work back in a little bit this week now that he's healthier?
Yeah, the goal is to get Mike James in there. It's hard right now when you miss multiple days, and especially, you know, he was sick, and because we don't practice long enough, hard enough to be able to get yourself in a rhythm and to be able to do that. And it's hard doing that on your own. But this week we'll do that for him. You know, I know he had a good day Monday and Tuesday. And so we're going to need different guys in the tournament, and I could definitely see us needing him.
Tyler Nickel obviously hasn't had the shot-making production exactly that I think he knows he's capable of. What's the messaging been like there, and is there any deviation in routine or anything?
No, there's nothing there, and our entire team has confidence in him. He has confidence in himself. You know, sometimes you got to, like Steph Curry has some bad shooting nights and misses some shots and all that. I thought he was really productive in Tennessee. You know, even without making shots, he had 5 tough rebounds. He did make a huge 3, and another one, his foot was on the line. It was almost another shot. Made 2 crucial free throws. What I like about a guy like him is he knows what the SEC tournament's about. He also knows what the NCAA tournament's about, and he'll play big coming up.